Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to the dceu Extra. Please smash the subscribe button and the like button, and follow me on Twitter, of course, at Movies TV Mad. The dceu Extra basically means I forgot to talk about something on the DCEU Daily, or I just found something. And I just found a brilliant interview on Joe Blow with Michael Shannon, who played the best supervillain of all time, General Zod, in Zack Snyder's, Christopher Nolan's and David S. Goya's Man of Steel. This is brilliant, and this is Chris Bumbray, who spoke to him from Joe Blow. Exclusive. Michael Shannon says it's a shame what happened to Zack Snyder on DC. Yeah, and I reiterate those sentiments. Today, our own Chris Bumbray talked to the awesome Michael Shannon for his new film, The Quarry. Our review here. The topic of working with Zack Snyder came up, and Shannon had much praise to share in working with the director and expressed his feelings on what happened to Snyder, which presumably is the fallout that Snyder had over his butchered theatrical release of Justice League, amidst the family tragedy he suffered, and subsequent exit from the DC film universe. This is what Michael had to say. I love working with Zack Snyder, and I think it's very sad he's been through a lot of hardship recently. I don't know what happened with the whole DC thing. I think it's a shame. I mean, his vision for Man of Steel I thought was incredible. I don't know how that all went off the rails, but I think it's a shame. Shannon went on to say that he doesn't know what went down that led to Snyder's exit from DC, and give some insight as to how involved he was with Snyder's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I don't know what happened. People think I'm in Batman v Superman, and which I guess I am for like 15 seconds. I'm mainly in Batman v Superman as a giant naked rubber dummy, which I didn't have anything to do with, really. Shannon is one of the best actors on the scene these days, and always a welcome addition any cast. See recently Knives Out, and as someone that worked with Snyder early on, it's interesting to hear his take on where it all of that went. Could we have another performer that would toss in support for Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League? Perhaps. Well, this is nothing new, by the way. Michael Shannon has been oozing praise for Zack Snyder for a very, very long time. Michael Shannon's an actor. He sees Man of Steel as a brilliant project he worked on. He likes talking about it. He's not someone I don't even think he's not on social media, so he's not going to hashtag release the Snyder Cut. But he is one of the most talented actors on the scene today. And we were very fortunate that Zack, Christopher Nolan and David S. Goya were able to cast him as General Zod. I don't think there's been a lot of live action versions of Zod. There's been Callum Blue on Smallville. There's been Terence Stamp, whose performance as Zod is iconic. But what Michael did, and what Christopher Nolan, David S. Goya and Zack Snyder have him do, and the type of Zod he played was brilliant. Because I believe this is more loyal and faithful to the comic book version of the character. This is not an out-and-out villain. This is a guy who was basically tasked with the protection of a whole planet. And he took that seriously. He loved his people and he wanted to protect them. And when they were extinct, he came on Earth and he wanted to turn the atmosphere of Earth into the atmosphere of Krypton so his people could live again via the Codex, the millions of DNA of Kryptonians living inside Kal, aka Clark, aka Superman. He doesn't really care that the humans won't be able to live on this new planet, but it's all about his focus to saving his people. Because as a clone, that's what was embedded in his mind. So his point of view in the film isn't really villainous, even though his acts are villainous. It's an interesting distinction, isn't it? But talking about the man, that's Michael Shannon, it's very good, very brave that he's coming out and still backing this man, seeing we've got hacks like the guy from Fandom Wire talking absolute lies and absolute nonsense about it. So I want to know what you think about Michael Shannon. Is he the best Zod? Is he the best supervillain in comic book history? Certainly in DC history, in my mind. but an absolutely fantastic guy, and top notch, top credit and respect to him for speaking out on Zack Snyder's behalf. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.